Welcome to Rock Hoarder Revelations. I'm Freddie Allen, and I am a rock hoarder, obviously. Um, I've always liked big rocks like boulders, kind of like this, and maybe not quite that big, all of them, but several big ones is kind of what I've always been in the habit of picking up. I never really thought of myself as a collector, or even definitely didn't think I was going to be a hoarder of rocks, but I did find some very unusual ones that really got me started into studying them more. And then went through some stuff and kind of hit rock bottom, and then just kind of started looking at rocks from there. Never really picked myself up from rock bottom, I guess. But so yeah, I've always liked big rocks like these, like kind of boulder like. But then when I was was bored and didn't have much else to do, started studying them, and so I started breaking big rocks, like breaking them open and seeing what they're made of, and all the it's crazy the stuff that I found. Got so many different types. I don't even know where to begin to talk about them, but got all these several types of rocks I've picked up from around the valley here, and yeah, when I started breaking them, you'd be surprised. You won't believe what the things that I found and what I've got out of it, like buckets and buckets full of crushed rock. But just kidding. I do have a lot of buckets full of crushed rock, but there are some very interesting things that I've discovered, and I really didn't really expect to become this involved or anything, and now I just don't know what to do with all this shit. So I thought I'd make this channel just to kind of show it to someone else, because I'm just one guy, and I get overwhelmed. I got so much crap that I can't keep track of it all. I use a cement mixer to tumble the bigger rough and then down into smaller tumblers and stuff. And so yeah, this is the only thing I could think of, because I really wasn't doing shit with my life. I was sitting here staring at rocks forever, and it's not getting me anywhere. And but on the other side of that, I don't know shit about making videos or editing or the internet or electronic devices or any of this crap either. So it's kind of an uphill battle. But some of you, the 17 to 22 people that have watched some of my last videos, I appreciate you, and hopefully some more people watch and hopefully subscribe, and maybe I can make some kind of living at doing what I do here. But and really, I don't even know what I do here. I started breaking them, and I thought I was on to something, gonna discover something. It seems like there's something that happened, like an impact, or maybe who knows, when the Earth and Moon were created. I don't know, to create these rocks. Some of them are just incredible, and I've got so many different types, and like some that look like they're meteors or asteroids or mini planets, or I don't know, crazy shit. But so I've been breaking them down and studying them, and as I go along, I started off trying to keep track of everything I do. Like, I got all these samples out of the tumblers of the finest silts to sands and dirts and different shit. But and I try to keep track of all this stuff for so long, but I'm just one guy, and I can't keep track of it all. I don't even know what's what anymore. I've got jars and samples and stuff everywhere that I've looked at some of it under microscopes and stuff, and just I don't remember what's what now. I just used to keep notebooks and try to write stuff down, and like I said, I'm just one guy, and I really don't even know what my point was, what my purpose was, except to figure out these magnificent rocks that I've had for years, and I've also, it was a big chunk, massive piece, and broke it into down into smaller, and it's some of the most phenomenal like gem mineral I've ever seen. But like, it's so unbelievable that and everywhere I've ever taken it, they don't believe it. They tell me it's glass or man-made or whatever. So I mean, really, a lot of my mission when I started studying this was just to prove that that was natural, and I'm sure I got all the evidence, but I got so sidetracked that I still have not done anything with it, and yeah, I'd like to get it like verified. Is what I'm sure it's like, some kind of corundum or another carbon type, diamond like type. I don't know. It's very unusual. It could be like lonsdaleite, like the hexagonal diamond that's made from, I guess, in impact events and stuff, like meteor impacts, that transforms graphite into diamond, and so it's got a hexagonal crystalline structure. And but yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, all this other stuff I just found, and some of it, like other people brought me, my friends and my aunt and my cousins, and some of it was my granddad's. He was a rock hound, and he really liked going out and exploring. And that's, and me and my brother, we went a lot with him as kids, but then after he passed away, I got this unusual piece. I just hold my crystal ball on it. It's very perfectly shaped for a crystal ball holder. But anyways, so yeah, I got, and I mean, a lot of these pieces look just like, you would just assume it's, mostly all quartz, and that's where I, really started running into was the hardnesses of some of these minerals. And then there's a natural cube crystal, and it's got not the best as far as clarity or color, but it is cool. The only other cube, well, I've got a couple of cube crystals. I've got this one. And they're very hard material, whatever they are. I said none of these have been officially identified, but in a lot of it, like, people, jump to conclusions, speculate, like, real quick, like, quartz. But I mean, like, obviously this is amethyst, and like, this should be beryl, I think, but I don't, it looks like beryl, but that doesn't mean that it necessarily is. But anyways, like I said, I was just trying to prove that this other stuff that I had discovered years ago was natural, and just kind of was lucky enough to discover some of the most coolest things that I can't believe still. Like, I mean, it seems like unreal to me, but I've got some really cool stuff, and I'll get into it again. If you've seen any of my other videos, like, they suck, but I mean, you'll see I got a lot of different crap and I can't stay focused long enough to see anything through to the end. This red stuff here, right here, orange and red stuff, that's the stuff I was talking about. It was one big, like I said, one massive rock. We'll get to that though. And the inclusion inside of it is like the most phenomenal, like ruby or red diamond, like, on the planet. But yeah, no one would believe that it was real. They'd tell me it was glass. And then the main reason that I was given that it was fake, that it had to be fake, was because if it was natural, it would be very valuable. So that was the number, pretty much the most given reason, that I was given, that it had to be glass or fake or whatever. I don't know. Nobody's ever really looked at it very closely. Take one look at it and start like laughing and making jokes out of it. Like, I don't know. It's kind of ridiculous to me. Frustrating. But so anyways, like, as you can see, I collect all kinds of weird rocks and crazy rocks, but as weird as they may seem, there are some very unusual stuff like this right here. This, I believe, would serve as pretty good evidence of there being plenty of diamonds and some kind of major impact or eruption of some sort that took place in this part of the earth, or at least where these rocks came from. Look, I don't know. It's like they erupted right straight from the center of the earth. But I don't think the earth is quite made up the way they think it is either. I think it's probably shaped more like this, and probably about the way it's made up too, is of many carbon tubes and structures that then everything else kind of flows through. But yeah, I think they could probably figure out a lot of the structure of the earth, and even further, you know, I don't know. I just think there's a lot to learn from rocks now. I never really would have thought, but the things that I've seen and noticed, you know, and I don't know, I see a lot of weird patterns and stuff, like no matter what rock type it is necessarily, or just some things that seem like they could all be connected, like with much bigger things than just, you know, rocks and diamonds and gems and stuff like that. But diamonds and gems, I believe I do have plenty of. Let me show you some of these. These are some of the rocks that, some of the gem stuff that I've found just by breaking larger rocks, and like a backyard little mine, I guess. But it's some very good size. And then the orange and red stuff here at the end, not including these two in the middle, of course, but the rest of this stuff is all part of the one rock I was talking about that I get told was glass. That it had to be glass, that it had to be fake, that it had to be, but it's like, it's very fine grained. Like, I mean, I'll admit, if I'd, you know, never seen it before, it was like this, I probably would think it was glass at a first look too. But I mean, when you look, if anybody took any time to really look at it, I mean, they'd see like some of the things that just only are possible in nature, you know, and like an impact, meteor impacts and stuff like that. But nobody takes the time to look at that. And a lot of it, I think, is because from the minute I walk in the door, they're already staking their career on it, that is, you know, 99.9% sure that it's glass, or, you know. So then they, you know, once they spit that out, they know the first thing, you know, they don't want to go back on that. They're out to prove more. They're more out to prove that it's glass than they're out to help me try to figure out what it is. And that's frustrating. I wish people wouldn't be such know-it-alls from the start, you know, and not consider that maybe they think that this is the only rock I've ever found. Like, I'd never seen another rock. That's what they talk to me like, oh my God, I've been treated like I am completely stupid for even thinking this was a rock. And yet I know it was a rock. I found it. I got lots of rocks, you know, like I know what a rock looks like. But, you know, to be treated like I don't know, you know, my ass from a piece of glass on the ground is just, I mean, that just, it's frustrating. So then, you know, kind of discourages me from going to try to take it anywhere else. And, you know, it's not like I can just load up everything I got and take it. You know, like, it's a long ways to go to the universities, and And then, you know, and especially like stuff like that impact. I've read a lot about, you know, shock minerals and you know, different types of metamorphism and metamorphic rock. And I mean, there's a lot of things that they've discovered now that, I mean, were not identifiable without, you know, some of the really high def, high resolution equipment that they use now. Like the standard tests that they do to determine, you know, what a rock type or mineral type is, you know, isn't really, it's not gonna identify it. It's not, doesn't have the resolution. But yet, you know, and I try to tell them that and they don't want to help me out with any tests or nothing like that. They just, oh, they don't want to waste my money, they don't want to waste my time, blah blah blah. I'm like, fuck, man, you're wasting my time by not, because this stuff like is phenomenal. And I've got some, I mean, some of these are like some of my favorite pieces in the little jars here. They're hard to see. And I've got, let me get some of this crap out of the way. Like I said, I keep samples of everything. Like, I got little samples in here of the dust and stuff that I've looked at through microscopes, and I've got lots of, and I mean, it's got lots of like different levels to it. And there's some that I'm sure it's like amorphous, like, you know, like similar to like what a obsidian is, like volcanic glass, but it's been like, you know, like shock wave. It's been put through some extreme pressures and temperatures, and I think, but I mean it, and the way that some of it glows and color changes, and it's got a lot of stuff going on. But the mainest thing, and these are some pretty good, I think, crystals, or at least, you know, crystal fragments right here, and maybe clusters too. But I mean, they're phenomenal. And I believe there's some type of carbon or carbide, you know, similar to like lonstolite being the like I said, the hexagonal diamond or whatever that they talk about. And it's unusual because from the start, I kind of thought maybe I'd discovered a new mineral or a couple of different new minerals, and so I'd had some names picked out. I wanted to call them if I was to ever discover a new mineral. And it was going to be landerlite and lanolite, and that was before I even knew anything about lonstolite. And it's kind of weird how similar they sound to each other, but I think they are similar structures to that. And, you know, crosses between different, like they call it, like a buckled graphite and a rhombic. There's a couple of different, I can't think of it all off the top of my head. I'm really not that smart, like, as far as, I'm really not. I don't, you know, but I do know that these are some very incredible pieces right here. And these aren't even the incredible ones yet. The ones, well, this is a piece of one of them that was, it was like a massive piece, like, I don't know, I can't even describe how big, like larger than this rock right here. One piece, and then when it broke, it, you know, it was, I don't know how to describe. Like, there's different, like, some of it was, like, the bottom part of it was swirled, had lots of swirls and stuff like that. And then the other end of it was more like layered, like had layers of real transparent sections, you know, but in pretty even layers, like, and then divided by these like whitish, like kind of like white mica, I guess, in between. And that's the same stuff that's in the swirled stuff, but it was just very swirled instead of, you know, nice evenly layered. And then in the center of all the chaos was these two inclusions, like just separate crystals from the rest of it. And one of them was this, it was like this color red one. Like you know, real red, fire engine red kind of. And then the other one, and they were bigger because I have broken everything. All the, like, and I wished, you know, like, in a way I wished I didn't, because when I realized now, like looking back at the photos of it and stuff, like it was one full crystal. Like it was incredible. And I think it still is, but I mean, and like I said, it's either got to be a ruby or a red diamond. But there's what's left of it after I broke it on its, the only like real fracture or cleavage type lines I could find in it, and tried to break it. Nope, it was not easy to break. But it still weighs 295 carats. It was 429 carats to begin with. And I've got pictures of it and videos of it and other videos you could check out. Or I'll make some better videos hopefully soon if I could ever get successful at anything. I could get better equipment and maybe get some help and actually do something smart and make some money at it. But right now, I just do with what I got. But yeah, 295 carats, and it's awesome. I can't even explain. Like, but it's definitely not glass. I don't know. I mean, people are free to their opinion, I guess, but I would think that, I don't know. I just think somebody that works at a university, or, you know, just has to show a little more interest. But I guess between looking at me and then looking at, you know, these, you know, it's just too unbelievable, I guess, and just automatically think that, you know, that they're fake, or I'm trying to pull some kind of scam, or I don't know what they think, really, honestly. But all I know is that they're natural, that they broke out of a rock, just like the rest of all these other, you know, crystals I got and all these other rocks. And yeah, and I think you know, I think it's like a shocked, or like a red diamond or something from a pretty big impact. But I don't know. I hope this video is recording all right, because I don't have much luck with stuff. I want to show you a couple other things too, that I think are pretty extraordinary. They look like some straight meteors. This one weighs 22 pounds, I think. It's got like some fusion cross going on, and got what looks like, you know, all kinds of different alloyed metals, precious metals, maybe, I don't know. Like I said, it's pretty heavy, 22 pounds, or I think 22 or 23 pounds. Got some weird textures. It looks like it's been, like it could be an impact rock, or, you know, something, the remains of something, I don't know. And then I've also got this one, which weighs like 18 pounds, I believe. It's got different alloys, metals. They're not magnetic though. They're pretty hard. They seem, I don't know, it's hard to explain. And also this one, this little guy, not real sure. It's pretty heavy too. I don't remember the weight of it. It slips my mind all of a sudden right now. And yeah, I don't know. got all kinds of unique stuff. This like magma, as you can see, and it's got some like flow patterns still left in it. You can see where this part's decayed and erode, real porous, and then where it goes to the stuff that's still got the flow patterns nice and smooth. So it doesn't, you know, non-corrosive materials in between the, probably the iron or whatever, you know, that corrodes out of it. Probably iron, I would imagine. Whatever, magma, or lava, whatever. And then there's some that are like kimberlites over here, and different, just all kinds of stuff. I'd, you know, really like to get better at making videos and get some help, some editors, and get something going on where I could really show this stuff to you the way it should be. Because, like I said, I think it really, you know, could hold a lot of answers to, you know, some of Earth's mysteries, mankind's mysteries. But anyway, that's what I got. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching. Please, you know, subscribe, like and subscribe, comment, tell me what you think about my rocks. If you collect rocks, if you're a millionaire and want to buy my rock, it could be, we can make a deal. Anyways, until the next time, take care, have faith, and God bless.